All right, so Phil and Will are back with some off-season podcasting for Survivor. We've got something pretty fun, I think, today. We're going to do a one-time players draft. Players who have only played the game once with the goal of creating the best tribe, 5 men, 5 women, and we want one of our players from our tribe to win.
That's right. Whoever has the best chance of having one of their players wins. And in the comments below, you can vote on who you think has the better team once we draft all the players. There are some rules. The first rule being only one-time players. That's pretty obvious, pretty clear. Second rule is no winners. We felt if we could pick winners, the winners would kind of turn to an all-winner season, which we didn't really want. And the last rule is no players from the last 4 seasons. So that's Caramoan, Blood vs. Water, Cagayan, and Juan Del Sur. The reason for that being is none of those players had had a chance to return yet.
Yeah.
Except for Blood vs. Water, the first one. That was kind of a unique season. But Malcolm has already been chosen to return from Philippines, so we're going Philippines and backwards are okay to choose from.
Yeah, and I think that, because the thing is, we're both kind of assuming like Spencer, Cass, somebody like that's going to get bring back.
We don't want to just have it be Hayden, Vita, Sierra, Tasha, Spencer. That would just be so obvious because they haven't even had a chance to return yet. So these are going to be a little more. They're going to be it'll be fun. It'll be different players that we've only seen one time.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
All right, so
who goes first?
We decide by a nice little rock paper scissors here. So
okay, sure. I'm down. Oh, and we have to have 5 women, 5 men on each of our tribes. There's no order about it. Just by the time we've picked 10 people, 5 need to be men, 5 need to be women. Okay, so let's do rock paper scissors.
You do the rock paper scissors, and you shoot when you say shoot, or do you do the other way?
Well, I'm actually probably the minority. You might not know this. I did Rochambeau, and then you decide. But I think that's a West Coast thing.
Isn't that
I'm down to rock. Have you heard that before?
Someone in the balls.
What's that?
Isn't Rochambeau when you kick someone in the balls?
I don't believe so.
No,
that's how we did scissors growing up. But I don't know. It's a West Coast thing, maybe. Anyway, I'm down to rock, paper, scissors, shoot. We'll shoot it, right in front of the camera, so it's clear who wins. Okay?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
You win. This is. I'm up. I was low. I'm sorry, I was low, but it was paper. I swear.
All right. Well, I got you then. I'll go first.
You go first.
Okay. Oh man, big decision here.
I'm happy I didn't go first.
Yeah, it's tough. Okay.
Dramatic. Like the first pick.
What's that?
You got to make it like dramatic.
For the first pick, one-time Survivor player draft, I am going to go with Ian Rosenberger, Plow.
Okay. I had him as a consideration.
I think that Ian, he's very likable, and he's also strong, but he's not like overbearingly strong, or he'll get voted out as a threat. I think he got totally played by Tom when he stepped down. If he had made it to the finals, he would have won. And I think if he were to play again, he would not be so emotional, and especially the way Survivor's evolved to be like this super strategic game. I think that he would. I think he would fare really well, and he'd be a player.
One of the nicest people to ever play. So if he plays again and he makes the merge, he's got one of the best shots to win because he's one of the nicest people, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think he really had a good shot at winning Palau.
Damn Katie.
Yeah, I mean, and Tom just totally I think he played him hard at the emotional thing. Like, what was it? Ian went up to Tom and was like, Oh man, it'd be a really tough decision if you know you didn't have immunity, and Tom was like, "Whoa, whoa!" Like I thought we were in this to the end, and Ian like showed
Yeah.
some lack of trust, and then Tom just let him have it, and Ian just broke down.
And they
I'm
had that epic immunity challenge. Probably still one of the best ones ever.
probably the best immunity challenge of all
Yeah.
time, and he just, I mean, that was what were they on there for like 14 hours, and he was just like he gave up. They didn't even have tribal. He's just like I'm done with the game
Yeah.
after sitting on a buoy just thinking. So it was so weird. I think he, I think he would fare really well.
Yeah. Learn from
Um,
his mistake and do better.
yeah, exactly. I think he would learn from that. I think
Yeah.
he really would. And he's a strong, nice. When we pick these people, they have to be kind of livable people. You have to be able to live with them.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to make it to the end, because oftentimes people just get voted out not because they're weak or not because they're dumb strategically, just because they're annoying.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot. So that's what we have to consider.
Well,
Give me 1 sec. I have to get my computer charger. Sorry. You can think. I'll give you a little more time to think about your pick.
yeah. Yeah. I'll just sit here and I'll think about who I'm going to take. Um, definitely feeling somebody from season one. I think. I'm pretty sure I'm going season one here. Yeah, and then taking into account your whole the whole fact that you were saying they have to be livable. Somebody like Abby Maria, who made for entertaining TV, you can't pick in this draft unless you were going to. But I'm just saying you can't pick her in this draft because who really wants to be around her, and how good of a chance does she actually have to win this game?
No chance of winning.
Yeah,
Just I know I would never pick.
yeah.
Uh,
So we're trying to win. That's what we're trying to do.
okay, so it's your pick. It's on
All
you.
right. I'm going all the way back to season one, and I'm going to one of the Alliance of Four, the only one who's never been brought back, and I'm taking Kelly.
Oh man, she was my number one female pick. Nice.
That's to me, she's so much further above all of the other female players who have only played once. She's just I don't know how she's never been brought back. I really don't.
Hey, I've thought the same thing. She was definitely my number one on my female list. Um, there is that kind of prowess about her. Like if she were to be brought back, it's like wow, that's Kelly. Like she was
Yeah.
in the first season, the first ever runner up. So that might be hard for her to battle because people might, think to her as like being this threat. But at the same time, it is going to be an all-returnee season that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So there's going to be threats all over the place.
And
So
the thing that I like a lot about Kelly is she's physical, but she had the social game that really, if she would have went with Rudy, she would have won, and she probably would have beaten Hatch had Sue never made that speech.
yeah, it was close. It was 4-3,
Yeah.
and she was the one of that four that was like, I'm in the alliance, but I don't want other people to really like. She was making connections with the other side, which
She was like best friends with Colleen the whole time.
right, like Hatch and Rudy and Sue weren't really doing, and that's what pissed them off so much about her. But she
Yeah.
was really playing the social game. One of the first ever really strong social players.
Yeah.
That's a great pick.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad.
Anything more on Kelly?
No, I mean really, I said everything I had to. I think that she would be. She's a dominant force who this show really should have brought back. I don't know if she just didn't want to at some point, but I'm surprised that she just never is even. You never hear about her anymore. You really don't.
Okay, well, that's a great pick. I'm gonna go with a woman. I'm gonna go with Heidi Strobel,
Wow.
from Amazon, and I think she would do great on a returning season because Jeff said in the reunion that Heidi had like the highest or the second highest IQ out of
Those
the
numbers
entire
were off.
team. What's that?
The numbers had to have been off.
No, she had good confessional. She was a smart player, and she was saying that she couldn't really play to her smarts and her looks and her physical ability all at once without being too big of a threat. That's what she said. But her head was in the game, and plus everyone remembers her for being topless
That's
and this
true.
blonde and hot chick that people may totally overlook her. And she has a strong social game. I think she got like fifth place, maybe
Yeah, she
yeah,
was fit.
fifth. And
No, was she fourth? I think no, she was fifth. Fourth was Butch.
Yeah, and then it was Rob, and then Matt and Jenna in the
Yeah.
finals. But she was right there. I mean, and she had, if immunity challenge goes her way, or it's not. I think and if it was her, it was between Jenna and Heidi in the final Child of Council. I think Heidi cleans up,
Well,
easily.
that whole season, I mean, it was kind of funny that was a men versus women season, but that whole season was about the men underestimating the women, and that's why Jenna ended up winning because they got rid of Heidi to keep around Jenna. And then Jenna went on a tear at the end, and she won the last two immunities, and she ends up winning the whole thing. And I think Heidi
Yeah,
probably was an underestimated woman.
yeah. I would feel great having Heidi on my tribe. I think she would be underestimated, and she's got that IQ, and just I'm happy with the pick.
All right, well, I'm gonna go women again. I don't know why I'm just going women all the time, but I think my
I
men
think
are safe.
it was more obvious choice of
Yeah,
men back, at least for me. So we want to get the woman before the other person takes them.
exactly. And my second one here, I did not like her at all as a player. I did not like her. I did not like her when the season was airing, but I rewatched it, and she really did play a great game. I'm going PG Law from China.
Oh man,
I know. I'm going PG from China, dude.
I don't think I think that she fits into the not livable, annoying category where you just don't want to be around her for 39 days.
But
And I think that could be her flaw.
I think though with her strategy the whole time, she was very good. And I
Oh,
think that
she does. She has some great strategic moves. She threw that challenge to get rid of Aaron
yeah,
um, when they switched tribes, and that was a good good move.
yeah. And I think she's one of those people who would have learned from seeing herself on TV and seeing how people actually were reacting to her. I think she's smart enough. She would learn from that, and I could see her being like a force because she'd be thinking a lot further ahead than a lot of the other people, like she was in her season. She was just on the wrong side of the numbers the whole time.
Okay. I think yeah, she might learn that people didn't like her, but that would be my big thing with her. It's just that we got to remember these people are living like close quarters, bare essentials on an island. Like you can't be that annoying, and she came out very annoying.
Uh, I
But
think.
hey, like you said, she might have seen herself on TV
Well,
and learned
my other
something.
thing too, you got to remember the heroes of that season were Todd, Amanda, and James, and she was their main antagonist. So they might have played up her annoyances on that show because they wanted the other three to be shown as the heroes.
Okay, that's
You know what
true.
I'm saying?
That's true.
Well, I'm glad you didn't like that pick because I didn't like your Heidi pick.
Oh, well, yeah, you can tell me if you don't like my pick. We don't have to like each other's picks. Why
I'm,
didn't you like the Heidi pick?
I don't know. I think that I'm blinded from that season by how good Rob was. And I think that that just blinds me to the fact that like there were other players because I found myself writing down. I was going through the cast to decide who I was actually going to like consider voting or picking up, and I had to throw in an Amazon person at the end as even a consideration, and I don't even think I would take him ever. Like I could not think of a real Amazon person that I really wanted to see play again because I
I
think
stood
Rob and
out to
Jenna
me
dominated the
too.
season.
Heidi was the only one. Heidi stood out to me because I remember that reunion show and her having that really high IQ, and she provided good confessionals and the whole topless thing. That's what people remember her for. So I think she would just be just totally underestimated and like this dumb blonde when really she's physically, socially, and strategically, powerful. So
Yeah, I hear you. We'll see.
okay,
We'll go.
yeah,
I
we
mean,
have
yeah,
to agree. That's fine. That's good. I'm glad you. I mean, I'm glad I picked up Heidi and you got PG.
yeah, that's fine. I'm glad the other way.
Okay. My pick. I'm going to go with Steven Fishbach.
It's a great pick.
Although he got 0 votes in the final tribal, I can't see that happening again. And he was against JT, one of like the most likable people, just not even from a viewer's perspective, but all the players during that season were like, oh my gosh, like I love JT, like I love him so much. Like I remember Brendan was like, if he wins, like I'm satisfied. Like when he was still
Yeah.
playing, that's what like Brendan said.
Well, Coach was ready to date the guy.
What's that?
Coach was ready to date him. Coach was madly in love with him.
Yeah, Coach loved him. He's like, I see his soul. He's so good.
Yeah.
And then like Debbie even was like, no, if we get to the final three with me, you, and me, JT, Steven, I'll give up immunity if I win it, so I can go third. That's how badly I want you to win. Like, it was weird love for JT that whole season. So Steven getting 0 votes is, I would say, mostly because of JT, not because of Steven's gameplay. I think Steven's really, he's a really strong player. And
I agree. Steven was my number 2 guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything more on Steven? I think because he got 0 votes, he could even tell people that, like, you know, I got 0 votes in Final Tribal. Like, you want to take me to the end. And he could even use that as leverage.
And the thing with Steven, too, though, I don't think since somebody got off the show, like in recent memory, I don't think somebody's done like more to improve their image to fans and stuff than Steven, because like he does all these he does so much stuff now. I feel like he's just become such a likable guy, and fans really liked him anyway while he was on the show.
Yeah, he was a huge fan favorite, at least for me. I mean, he was probably one of my favorites on that season.
Yeah. No, I like that pick, and yeah, I mean, really, from Token Sheens, I feel like he's one of the only people you could really, you know, he's one of the only ones who you could really like look at for this type of situation and say, yeah, he's the one guy who needs to be brought back. And he's another one I'm kind of surprised. I guess they really haven't had like a reason to bring him back, though. Like they haven't had a situation.
I could have seen him come back for Heroes versus Villains. Like, he was a hero. Because it was like him and JT the whole time. JT got brought back. It would have been cool to see them, you know, play. But maybe they thought, we've already seen that before. JT, Steve on the same tribe. We don't want to do that again. And JT's obviously the bigger fan favorite, the winner, and just more likable. So I can see why he didn't make it.
Yeah. I was never a huge JT fan. I don't know. I wasn't that big of a fan of him, and I really did like Steven, so I wish it would have been Steven, but, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was a bigger Steven fan than JT, not that I didn't like JT. But we're not there on the island, so it's...
Yeah.
I think there's got to be a reason why, like, everyone likes JT, you know?
Yeah, well... My next pick, I'm going to go deep, man. Like, this is going to be really far away, but I feel like this is one of the – if I'm going to start a tribe, like, and I need, like, a guy on my team, I'm not going for, like, the huge physical threat. I'm going for somebody who was, like, a huge fan of the game and had a great social game. And I'm going deep here, so I hope you even remember who this guy is. I hope you do. I'm going Brian Corridon from Guatemala. Do you remember him? I went too far, huh? He was one of the first people who really...
I do. Wait. He was... I think I do. He was like the young dude. He had that like kind of high voice.
Yes. Yeah, that's him.
Like really smart, and he was a huge fan. Everyone liked him. Yeah, I do remember him. I was getting him mixed up with Skinny Ryan from Pearl Islands.
Forget Skinny Ryan. No.
Yeah, no. I remember Brian. Yeah.
He was in the driver's seat of his tribe, and they did a mix-up, and him, Gary Hogaboom, and that girl from Massachusetts, Amy, the real heavy Boston accent, they got screwed over so bad by a tribe swap. And it ended up where they ended up on a tribe with 5 people from Danny Boatwright's tribe. Right. And he still almost survived, but he was just a sitting duck. Yeah. But before that, he was playing great. He was blindsiding people and stuff, and he knows the game so well. And I feel like that's a guy who it's like, he underachieved so much the first time that this time he would be out for blood, and he knows the game, and I think he's one of the better strategists that we haven't seen twice. I really do.
Okay, I think that's a good pick.
Yeah, he was like an Ivy League student or something too. Like this guy was nuts, and that was the only guy I had above Steven.
Okay. Interesting pick. I like it. I do, from what I remember good things. And, yeah, he did get screwed by a tribe swap.
Like, this was like Silas level screwed, how bad this guy got screwed this season. Like, it was horrible.
All right. Well, I'm going to go. I guess I'm alternating, not really on purpose. I'm going to see how far this alternating takes me, but I'm going to go with a woman. I'm going to go with Natalie Bolden.
You're a bastard.
Did you have her next?
I did.
She was ruthless. I mean, she was the things she did to Jason were so funny. Just like convincing him she sent him to exile for a reason, like to give his immunity away, like all of this stuff. Then she did the same thing with Eric. She helped out. Like she was devious. She was. I
Well,
mean, I could
she
see it. I could see her getting to the end, and it depends what. And I think this is also because Survivor is becoming just more and more about strategy and big moves. That like people are less bitter about it. I think she would be like respected for her like ruthlessness rather than like people who be mad at her.
and the thing with her is you got to remember she was the one who convinced Eric to give her the necklace. Like she was brutal and she was a great strategist. She kind of got overshadowed by the fact that she was in the alliance with Amanda, Suri, and Parvati, and they got all the credit. She kind of got overshadowed on that season, and I mean, she really did play a great game.
Yeah,
And
all the fans on that season really did get overshadowed
they
because,
did.
and that's why those seasons are kind of like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna do them again with the half returnees, half newbies, just because the newbies don't really stand a fair
Look,
chance.
the second fans versus favorites was a disaster. The only one who really stuck out was Reynolds from the newbies. Otherwise, it was like the people who made it to the end. Sherry, the women on that season that they
Eddie was
casted as
funny.
fans.
I like Eddie. Eddie.
What?
I like Eddie too.
Well, Eddie was funny, but Eddie wasn't exactly a player, you know.
I think he's more of a player than he was shown to be.
Yeah,
But still, I do hear what you're saying.
yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
that first fans versus favorites, Natalie and Eric got really overshadowed for how well they played the game because of who they were with. And Natalie played a hell of a game. She just, like I said, it just came down to the fact she was in an all-girl alliance, and they wanted to make it so that Sari, Parvati, and Amanda looked like they were the leaders of it. And I really think Natalie had more to do with it than they gave her. So I
Yeah.
like that pick a lot.
hmm
I really do.
Thank you. Thank you.
That one I'm happier with than your Heidi thing. All right, my next one. I'm hoping that this guy's not too old, like in terms of like actually playing, because like he hasn't played in like 10 years, or not 10 years, but maybe 6, 7 years, whatever it is. I'm going Terry from Exile Island.
I had Terry on my list. Yeah, he was a challenge beast.
And the thing is, if he was able to like kick ass when he was like 46 or 47 or 48, whatever he was, and now
Yeah.
he's 50,
He's like 45 or something.
and now maybe he's 50, 52, somewhere in that range. I think he's still like he was, military guy. There's no way that he really lost that physical prowess that he had. And I mean, he dominated that game physically. And I think if he was with a different set of people, he would have probably dominated it socially too. He just got stuck. The other tribe had the numbers the whole time, and they just didn't want anything to do with anyone. They were just bitter people, that other tribe.
Yeah, yeah, they were. And if he makes the merge, there is a chance that he just wins all the immunities. Like
Yeah.
that's actually that chance, which you can't say for almost anybody. Like
Yeah.
that, like you can't say that's a good game plan or a good strategy to rely on immunities. But with Terry, like he could do it.
He was nuts. I mean, and he was beating younger guys than him, like
Yeah.
20 years younger than him.
Aris and him had a great battle, and Terry up until like the very, like maybe even just the last challenge, Terry pretty much won all of those.
Yeah.
Competitions.
Well, the
against
last
Aris.
challenge Danielle won.
Yeah, well, that happens so much. Jenna wins, Susie wins, and Gabon. Just that always happens.
They need to start rigging these last challenges so that these people hang around. But Terry's another one. I'm surprised he never came back.
Yeah, me too. Because he's popular. He's pretty honest.
Yeah.
Throughout. He got
I
a
know-
little cocky some points, a little douchey at times, but hey, you're out there for 39 days. That'll happen.
A lot of people thought he was a little chauvinistic too, which I didn't really get that much of. But a lot of people, like I know Suri would always complain that he was a little chauvinistic. I mean, I feel like he's one of those guys though. Older people like him, and then younger people like him too because he is good at the challenges, and he's just he seemed like he was a likable guy at least to viewers. So I think you put him on a tribe with people, and they're gonna kind of look up to him almost as like he's the older guy and he knows what he's doing.
Right, and it's good. You need strength on your tribe, which is why my next pick, maybe not the best strategic player, but someone who's definitely strong. Because so far right now, I have my two guys are Ian and Steven. Um, and Ian's good physically, but I need like a guy who can,
Yeah.
be, maybe a little bit stronger. So I'm going to go with Matty Whitmore from Gabon.
Okay. Okay, and he's one of those guys too. If he makes it to the end, he's another one I think wins.
Very likable. They even
Yeah.
said in the reunion, like, if he had won that fire-making challenge against Bob, like, he would have won.
Yeah.
So he was one fire challenge, not even a vote, like just one fire challenge making away from winning the game. And he's strong, and he was pretty level-headed and made some good strategic moves. A little emotional at times, but,
What, he get engaged
will
on the
happen.
island?
What?
He got engaged on the island to his girlfriend or whatever. Yeah.
I love you, Jamie. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. I'll never forget that. But you know what? That like added to his little like aura of like how likable he really was, and people like didn't see him as fake; they saw him as real.
yeah, he seemed like a really good dude, and he got fourth place, really close to winning, and I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do it again. I don't know why he hasn't been brought back. I guess, I mean, if you think, we always say like, oh, there's been so many returning seasons. It's like, not, because like when you think, like, here's versus villains, there's 10 guys that are getting asked back. That's it.
Mhm.
And then it was Caramoan, and then that's only 5 guys, and then Blood vs. Water was like not even any really. It was just about other casting. So in reality, since Micronesia, there's only been 15 guys and 15 girls, right? Besides like Ozzy and Coach and like Russell and Rob, but like,
Yeah.
we're talking about these players that aren't like so dominant.
Well, I think the reason people get kind of tired of it is because they bring back people for a third or fourth time. Like, everybody says like Boston Rob's one of the great players of all time, and yeah, his first like in Marquesas, he was the only one who was playing the game until Kathy just turned it on. In not Micronesia, in All Stars, he should have won. He really won that game. But like, the guy didn't make the jury twice, then you put him on a fourth time and he just walks to the end. You see James and Amanda 3 times. You really don't need to see them 3 times. You know,
Right.
so I think people just got tired of it. That's too many 3-time players, not enough 2-time players. Here we are looking at people and we keep saying, how was this guy never brought back? And,
True.
you know.
Yeah, like so far, I think we have a pretty good like season going of good cast members.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
really do.
So I think Maddie would have a really good shot at winning.
Well, I'm going to go now. I'm going to go back to girls. And this one is going to be tough because obviously this person has changed a lot since they played. But watching them play the first time, they were meant for like late Survivor seasons. Like they were meant for like season 20, and on. Elizabeth Hasselbeck, who was Filarski at the time.
Yes, she was probably my next female pick.
She was unbelievable the first season that she played. And once it all came down, once Scoopin fell in the fire, that tribe was done. But that tribe was like really had a control on that game. They were up a number. They had the strongest guys. Elizabeth was great. I mean, really, if she goes to the final against Colby or Tina, I think she wins because everybody on that jury liked her.
Yeah, she was really likable. Everyone thought of her as like just like the sweet little girl. But she was smart too, and yeah, she was a great player. The only thing this comes up with Australia all the time is like Scoopin going into the fire, and that evened out the tribes. It didn't give any tribe one advantage, and I hate when one tribe or that tribe's like, oh, who knows what would have happened? Like we were gonna dominate. It's like that didn't really flip everything.
It kind of did, though, because then when they got to Final 10, if you remember how Jeff Varner got voted out at 10th, it was because he already had a vote against him. And
yeah, that's those old rules, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like the only way that they knew that was because Kimmy, the vegetarian, had opened her mouth up to one of the other people. And I really do think that with Scoopin, it was just a different tribe. He was like their leader, and they just had they had a good thing going for some reason, that tribe. That was one of the better tribes, and then they just got decimated once they hit the merge. Thankfully, they kept around Elizabeth and Roger long enough. But
what were the merge numbers?
5-5.
They merged 5-5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Jeff went home, at 10, and then Nick, Alicia, they just picked them off, and then they blindsided Jerry with like one of the first real blindsides in Survivor.
Right, right. Yeah, Elizabeth, that's a very solid pick.
Yeah.
She was probably going to be my next female.
You know, and I know we were talking about like, do you take into like account like their age now, what they're doing now? I don't know how she would be now because she's like pretty well off. She's got kids, all that stuff. I doubt you'd ever see her coming back to play this game. But the way she played that first time, if you took that Elizabeth and put her on a season, now that's the type of female players that they're looking for now. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to stick with my alternating here. So I'm going to pick a woman. And I'm going to go with Erin from Token Teens.
Okay. She's an underrated player.
What?
She's very underrated.
Very underrated player. And I don't think the thing about Erin is I think she has one of the highest like chances of making the merge because she doesn't really. I mean, she was kind of an outcast early, but like she could hold her own in challenges, and she doesn't just piss people off at camp. And those like are two things that like get you to the merge. Like, hold your own in challenges, don't be a liability in challenges, and then don't annoy people at camp. And you don't have to be loved by everybody, but if you can do those two things, and then she made some great, strategic moves. She got on with JT and Steven on their little team. She did that more so than Coach and Tyson, who were the first ones to try that, and then more so than Brendan, who also tried that. It's like all of that one tribe, Timbira, wanted to be with Steven and JT, and they all failed except for Erin. Erin was the one from that tribe to really get in, getting good with them.
And you got to remember, too, Erin got JT and Steven to vote out Taj. And like the three of them seemed inseparable.
Exactly. They were on the original that tribe together, and she did manage to do that. She is, and if she gets to the end, you could see her. I mean, I don't know exactly in that season because it was JT and Steven, so like tough to beat either of those guys, especially JT. But if Erin gets to the end, I mean, even in an all-returning season, she would have a chance because I think people, for the most part, liked her.
Well, and I know a lot of times, like when we were watching that season when it first aired, I remember people were kind of lumping her and Sierra together as just kind of like the young girls who were kind of riding coattails. But Sierra annoyed everyone. Erin was like the relaxed, calm one who kind of like she like kind of lulled them to sleep into thinking that she was just a goat when really she wasn't at all.
Yeah, no, not at all. I would love to see her play again, see what she can do. So I'm happy to have her on my tribe.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm trying to decide, do I go male or female here? I'm so in love with the season 1 females because that's when they used to bring in like the strong, like every woman that they brought on was like, other than Colleen, was like, they were set for it. What do I got? I got 3 women and 2 guys. You know what? I'm just gonna go do it now. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. I'm gonna go Gretchen Cordy from Borneo. The first person the first person voted out before the jury. She made the merge but didn't make the jury.
Yeah, I remember Gretchen.
And my reason for her is she was another one that Pagong tribe. She really did. She was like in control of that tribe, and like they all looked at her as like a leader almost. And Richard Hatch saw that right away and said, "This is it. We got to get rid of her because she is the threat right here." Like he knew she was the threat. And as a female player, she really is. Her and Kelly Wigglesworth, I think they could go back and forth as 2 of the strongest female players ever. Gretchen just got stuck in the whole situation of it was season 1. She was on a dumb tribe.
The thing with Gretchen was like it's hard to really point at like what was her strategy or like her like what was her voting like because at that point in Survivor having an alliance was considered like immoral. Like that was considered wrong. Even when they merged and like the 4 and Sean stuck together, even Jarvis said like, "Oh, that's weird they all voted together. If they do that again, then it means it's an alliance." Like, no, Jarvis, obviously they're voting together. Like, this is how Survivor works. I mean, this is the first season, so people didn't know that. But if Gretchen plays like now and like has seen these seasons she would be, a strong player and probably would have, she would actually take into account, alliances, voting,
And
even idols and stuff like that. She could handle the new, more strategic version of the game.
Gretchen almost reminds me of like a Denise, where her social game was that good, but at the same time she was more physical than a Denise. Where Gretchen, like in those challenges, like when they were doing them, she was one of the people carrying that tribe at the beginning, and like that was a young tribe, you know. And it is a shame that she got stuck, as well as somebody I might take later. But she got stuck with people who really didn't know how to play, whereas the other tribe was the people who did know how to play. And if Gretchen was over there instead of like a Sue or something, Gretchen could have ended up taking the whole thing. It just depends on if you're with Richard Hatch or if you're not. That really
Right.
came down to who did well and who didn't.
Right. No, I didn't. That's a good pick. So you have two season one females.
I do.
Probably, yeah, strong players. Strong players. Um, okay, my female list is getting a little bit weak, so I'm going to go again with a female. And this is a pick that might be surprising, it might not be. We already kind of talked about why, but I'm gonna go with Alexis from Micronesia
Okay.
because she kind of got grouped in as like with Natalie as kind of like the kind of under Amanda Suri Parvati when she was a pretty big like Natalie and Alexis were doing things right and they were playing a strong game, and the only reason Alexis was because she got idled out by Amanda, and they just they picked her to be gone because they thought she was threatening, but she was like she had a great social game. She was flirting with Ozzy, and that's why Amanda didn't like her. But she was, pretty physically strong, and I think if she were to play again, she would fare pretty well.
I agree with you on that. I do think that there's better strong women that you could have picked, but I do like what you said there. Alexis was very social, and once again, we've already kind of talked about this. It came down to on Micronesia, the fans got overlooked for the favorites.
Yeah, like they didn't have really. If Alexis and Natalie were on their own season, like they would have been the stars of that season. Is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to like. They would have been the power strong females, and they would have been brought back. Like if they were on China or something, or like
Yeah.
any season before Micronesia, they might have been brought back as favorites.
Yeah.
And they just didn't get. They kind of got overshadowed by these stars like the fans.
And
So. I'm happy with Alexis.
well, and one of my things too with that is that's one of the main reasons why Eric Reichenbach's the only one who's been brought back from that season that was a fan who turned into a favorite is because if he didn't give up the necklace, all the fans on that season would have just been forgotten, which is crazy to think about because these are supposed to be the biggest fans Survivor has to offer.
Yeah, but no, because I think if Eric doesn't give up the necklace, he goes on, he might have a chance at
He probably wins.
immunities, or I guess 3 immunities because he went out at
5.
5 or 6.
Yeah. 5.
5. Yeah, I mean he could have gone on an immunity run and gone to the finals, and people really liked Eric. So
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think that there's better, stronger women to take than Alexis, so I'm kind of happy you took Alexis because she's going to be one of the ones who doesn't win the game here, so I like that.
I think she has a shot at winning too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not I'm curious to see the other woman that you have ahead of Alexis, so I can kind of because I didn't think about Gretchen really because it didn't really cross my mind. But now that I think about Gretchen is a good pick, and Kelly I had Kelly as number 1. So
Well, my thing is, I don't know if it's biased or not, but I kind of look at season 1 a little bit stronger because these people just kind of showed up on an island and didn't really know what to expect. So I'm kind of looking at it as if I got to pick one-time players, I'm going season 1 because I have a feeling these people would do it so much different if they could do it the next time. But they're one of the most likable casts ever. So you take their likability and all of a sudden you teach them how to play the game. And you're not going to get Jervis who goes to the end and doesn't get any votes. You're going to get people who go to the end and they get the votes.
yeah, the only thing with season 1, it just was such a I was so young when I first watched it. I was 7 when it aired, I think. and then rewatching it, it's so different than the other Survivor seasons that it's like it's just hard for me to really. I don't know. It's just it's such a different season. Like the way that when the reward challenge or the challenges are going on, Jeff doesn't say a word.
Yeah.
They have these like interludes with music, and it just doesn't. It feels very not Survivory. So like when I see that season or think of players from that season, I guess I don't really give them as much credit. So I think that's just my bias. But
yeah, I hear you. I'm looking at my tribe, and really, my tribe's all early players right now. My latest player is PG from season 15. She's looking at 14 seasons. I don't have anyone.
Wow, interesting.
And I'm looking at my list here, and my next pick, because now I'm thinking I got Terry, who's really strong. I got Brian, who's like a social guy. I'm taking another strong older guy, and I'm going Andrew Savage from Pearl Islands.
Wow, great pick.
And my thing with Andrew Savage is he got screwed the hardest by the Castaways thing, or the Outcast twist, where Lil came back in, because he's another one. He was in control. He really was. And I don't know how everything would have went down post-merge with that whole thing, but I do know that Lil coming back in, they go to the merge, and even though the numbers were even 5-5, Lil hated him because Lil was the one who voted Lil out. So Lil switched sides at 6-4. Savage goes home, and that's the end of him. You never hear from him again. And one thing I found interesting, Jeff Probst said, had that not happened, Andrew Savage probably would have came back for the All-Star season. Boston Rob would not have, and Boston Rob might have only lasted for Marquesas, and you might never have heard from him again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. That Outcast twist changed a whole lot. But I do like the pick. He might be a little old now.
I looked up his age. He's 50.
He's 50. Okay. So I mean he's probably still fit physically and probably can hold his own at challenges. But you don't know. That'd be my only concern with him. But he was a strong player. He really was. He was in control and he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Hard to see twists like, it's hard to see any twist coming except a tribe swap. Like, if I were to play Survivor now, like, you have to expect a tribe swap at, like, after 3 people have been voted off. Like, it's been like episode 4 tribe swap kind of just, it just happens.
Well,
and that's something that you can plan for. Like, be friends with everyone on your tribe. But, a twist like the Outcast thing, you can't really.
Yeah, the Outcast was random.
Yeah,
what I mean?
It only happened once, so.
Yeah, and I think that Jeff realizes that really, for me, the Outcast twist took a great season and kind of cheapened it a little bit, because now you have Lil go to the end and you have Burton get 5th, and Burton was voted out 2nd.
Yeah, it's like it is one of the best seasons, but people say it's like the #1 best season, and I do knock it. No. I have it at 6th on my maybe 5th. I don't know. It's like 5th or 6th for me. It's still up there, but the Outcast twist definitely lowered it a little bit. But that's a good pick.
What I think is funny, though, just one last thing on Pearl Islands, most people, like my dad, huge Rupert fan. Most older guys, they just love Rupert. Nobody ever realizes Rupert got 8th place on that season because of the Outcast twist. Like, really, he was one of the biggest figures, but he got 8th place.
Yeah, 8th place. He did a lot with his airtime.
He did.
And then he came back in All Stars, and I think he got 4th or something.
Yeah.
4th. Yeah. So he did back to back, did really well.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we got 3 picks left each.
My pick. I think Maddie and Ian are enough to like hold down like my tribe, especially going up against Terry and Savage. So I feel like you don't have that strong physically of a tribe. So I am going to go with, this is a tough one. I'm still meeting 2 people, but I'm going to go with Rafe.
Okay. I like it.
He got 3rd place, and he actually had that deal with Danny, and then like relinquished Danny from like made her not hold her to it. So he was another one of those guys where like he really could have won the game. I think if it's a Rafe versus Danny final, I think Rafe wins pretty easily because he was with Stephanie in that kind of bullying alliance, but Rafe was such a nice guy, and like I remember him like not eating that chicken that they roasted. They did some ceremony, and Stephanie ate it, Danny ate it. Who got fourth? I forget.
Lydia.
I think Lydia even ate it if she was there.
Yeah.
And Rafe didn't eat. I thought that was funny. And he was really well liked, and he was strategic. Like he was with Stephanie at the time. Like we need to do this, this, this. Like very in the game, very likable, and he got third. So gotta like his chances. And at challenges, he was pretty good.
He was actually. He was because he was so smart, and he was physical enough, but he looked so weak and dweeby that it kind of took people off guard, I feel like. But I really like Rafe, and I think I know who you were stuck between with him and somebody else, because he does have like that more strategist mind than he does physical mind, but you need that type of thing. And he goes to the final, he wins, because I don't think people like Danny that much on that season.
Yeah, I think Danny did play a really good game, and supposedly she didn't say stuff to the cameras because she didn't give great confessionals about her strategy because she feared that the production was gonna like tell people what to do and like
I heard that.
Game. And she was very wary of that, and because especially with Stephanie in there returning players, production may want to get people to last longer in the game. So I think Danny had a better game than her edit showed, but Rafe would have beat her, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure too, and I think Rafe was one of those people who was like a Cochran before Cochran, where like he was like a fan favorite because he looked like he didn't belong, but I mean he had a hand in like every vote out of Guatemala, and he was playing a hell of a game. He really was.
Really good. Yeah, he would have been a great winner. I think if he plays again, he would have a good chance. So I'm taking Rafe.
All right, you're taking Rafe. I wrote them in like a little bit of an order here, and the next person I have up is another person from Borneo, and I feel like I'm taking too much Borneo. I really do.
I think, yeah. I mean, the only person I really wanted from Borneo was Kelly, because like Hatch and Rudy and Sue all came back, and besides that, it was like you just had the people that got pagonged. So
well. You know what it is? I watched Borneo not too long back, and it's one of those things where it's like when you hear what Richard Hatch has to say about these people as he's voting them off, like he's just like, okay, you're gone now. And when he's giving the reasons and seeing the legacy of Richard Hatch, I feel like you start to appreciate those players more, because Hatch was complimenting as he's getting rid of them because he knew exactly who was in control and who wasn't. And I'm looking at the guys I have left. All right, I'm going to go someone else. And if he's still there when I pick my last guy, I'm taking him. But anyway, Marty Piombo is who I'm going.
I think I know who you're talking about, but I only have one guy left, and I know who I want it to be.
Okay.
So,
well, is it Marty Piombo? Because I just took Marty Piombo.
It is not Marty. No.
All right. Well, I just took Marty.
Right.
And he's one of my people. Me taking him. He's one of my people. He was a great strategist, and he was good. He was good at talking to everyone. And I'll never forget with him, my favorite moment with him was when he was talking to Fabio and convinced Fabio that he was a chess player. I mean, Marty was like, he was this old smug guy who really, really, really like knew what was going on though. Like he knew how to talk to everybody. And once again, it comes down to he's on a cast with people who aren't really playing that much of a game. That's really what it came down to.
Yeah, Marty was in the game. The only thing, I feel like your tribe just might be a little old.
I'm looking at the younger people I have, though, and I don't like any of them.
Like, if you have Terry, Savage, and Marty, that's 3 of your 5 guys. And then who else do you have?
Brian.
And Brian.
He's like 30.
Brian's strong. Brian's strong, too.
Well, my thing is, though, I get that like you have Maddie, who's like this like big physical trainer, but if you put Maddie up against Terry or Savage, I think it's still going to be close.
It's true.
And Ian was lanky. Ian's a different kind of strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think I kind of like what I have right now. And Marty, he's another one I wish they would have brought back when they did like the fans versus favorites or something instead of a Phillip or something, because Marty really did. He got shafted. He was stuck in the old tribe. The old tribe got decimated. He finally starts to work his way in, and then it's like, what can he do anymore? He has to give up his idol to Sash, and
Yeah, and the players he was playing with are like, it's so hard to play on a season when like we were saying this in one of the podcasts, and I think, yeah, and Jeff was saying it even at the reunion show for St. Juan Del Sur, when you have players that don't exactly know what they're doing, it's like pretty tough to play against. And Marty knew what he was doing, but he was playing with a lot of like players that just weren't really playing the way you would think someone would play the game.
The best players on that season, Brenda and Sash, I think. So other than that, you just had a lot of people. Like Jane was just bitter. Holly really didn't know what she was doing. It was just a
Holly
weird.
didn't know what she was doing, but I do like Fabio. I still think that because Fabio, he had a few confessionals that he was like, I want them to think I'm goofy and stupid. And he had a few of those where it made me think, okay, at least he has some type of strategy and he is playing this character of like being this silly guy, and he didn't just stumble his way in. Like he always kind of like floated around, and like that's a great strategy, and I kind of respect Fabio. A lot of people don't as a winner, but I think Fabio, he beat out Sash, so Sash didn't get any votes.
Yeah. He beat out Chase, too, who was a nice guy, a strong guy,
Yeah, so, I mean, Fabio did something right. He definitely had a good social game.
So what do we got left here? We got one guy and one girl left each?
Yeah. None of the girls I really have left that I really like all that much, and I don't think you are thinking the same way I am in terms of females, so I think I'm going to leave that. I think I know who your season 1 pick is, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna take him. But I'll ask you: is it Greg?
Oh, it's Greg.
It's Greg. Okay,
It's Greg.
That's what I thought. I mean, yeah, Greg was a funny guy. We just didn't get to see much of him because he went out early. But this is someone. I mean, this is my last guy pick. So. This is someone who I really want to see play again. One of my favorite players from his season. He had a great arc. He dominated the game for a while. Can you guess who it is?
What's like the period he's in here? Give me like a 10-season window or something.
He's post Micronesia, pre Heroes vs Villains.
Wow, that's a really good window. Is it wow, that would be one of your is it Kenny?
It's Kenny. It is Kenny.
Were you between Kenny and Rafe before?
Yeah.
I like Kenny a lot. I think Kenny was a great player.
And he said in the reunion, he said, I got too cocky. And if he were to play again, he would not get so, because if you look at Gabon, he was once the merchant, he just he took Charlie out. He took
Marcus.
He didn't take Marcus out. That was Susie. That was before they merged.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
But Kenny was he was in control, and I remember he got Ace out before pre-merge. He told Sugar that Ace was lying when it was all when it was just a lie.
Yeah.
Kenny was a player, and he really grew into his own, and I loved watching him play. He got a little cocky there at the end, but I would love to see Kenny play again. And
I agree.
If he gets to the end, he has a good shot at winning too.
Well, and the thing with Kenny is what makes him such an entertaining player is he's like a scavenger, where he was always on the wrong side of the numbers. If you remember, he aligns with the first girl voted out.
Yeah, he became friends with who was it? It was Michelle. They became friends. And Kenny was like, "Oh, finally, I'm talking to this hot girl. I'm on an island with a girl, so that's my best chance." He didn't kiss the girl in 5 years before coming on Survivor.
Yeah.
And then she gets voted off, and then I think he becomes friend. He was then tight with GC and Crystal, and GC gets voted off.
And him and Crystal made it far.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
Kenny was a player, and I would love to see him play again. So that leaves my guy. I have my 5 guys are Ian, Rafe, Maddie, Kenny, and Steven. I'm pretty happy with those 5 players. I can see any of them winning.
I hear, and you know what? I'll take a man now so that we can keep the women for the end. And since you already hinted at it, the only person I had after this guy who was close to him was Kenny. So you just made my decision easier. I'm taking Greg Buis, and my reason for taking Greg Buis is he was one of those guys who I felt like he was doing it as an adventure. And, you hear all the stuff about him screwing with casting and stuff, and he's the reason why Jeff just started asking person after person questions at Tribal because he was such a mess that first Tribal. And my thing with Greg is numerous people said, I think it was Gretchen who actually said it the first time, Greg has everybody by the balls right now because everybody thinks that he's just a buffoon, and he's actually got them all under his thumb because he's funny, and you like him, and he's like a Tyson where it's like, you want this guy to do well because you like being around him because he makes you laugh so much, but he was thinking ahead of everybody else,
Yeah, he's like a smarter version of Fabio. Like Fabio had that kind of idea to be goofy and have people like you. But Greg definitely Greg was smart. Like he knew what he was doing, and he was funny.
He really was. And the thing with him is he won the first immunity ever for individual. And that's the reason Gretchen got voted out first on the merge. And then as soon as he got voted off, that was another one where Richard Hatch said, I think his exact words were, getting rid of the competition. Because Greg had everybody down. And if Greg makes it further in that game, people are going to want to sit there and say, yeah, give Greg the money because Greg's hysterical. We all like him. Like his arc, his stories, everything was just so freaking hysterical.
Sure. But Greg's a good player. I knew you were gonna. Yeah, I just don't have the same affinity for Borneo as you have. I just don't. I really barely remember watching as a kid, and then on the rewatch, like I said, it was just such a different pacing. It was such a different season of Survivor than any. Even Australia, you can say, okay, Australia and Palau are pretty similar. They have the same music. Everything is but Borneo is just a different cookie. I guess that's why I have 0 Borneo players on my team.
My thing with Borneo is I still think it's one of the best casts they ever got. If you make that cast season 15 or 16 or 17 or 18, I feel like you get a much better game. I think it's an overrated season because people will say, oh, it's one of the top 5 seasons and all this stuff. And I'm like, not really, because they didn't really do much.
It was the pagonging. It was just because one tribe knew what to do, knew to get into alliance, and the others just were let's vote who we think deserves to be here or not. Well, and they just got wiped out. And so I agree with you. If it was a later season with maybe idols, not that I'm a huge fan of idols. I like when there's one idol on exile or something like that. They could definitely, that cast could provide a really entertaining season.
Well, you have to remember too, with season 1 is what was I going to say here? I was thinking with the way that went down with all of those characters, I just feel like that was when editors showed the characters more, and you really got to know these people more than they didn't focus on gameplay as much as they did on the characters. And I feel like that's why I love that cast, and I feel like that's why I'm sitting here with 3 of those people on my tribe. So let's take our last women, and then let's look at these 2 tribes next to each other because right now they're close. I really do think they're close.
Yeah, there have been some great picks. I'm struggling on this last pick because the one person I want that I would take, I just don't know about their chances of winning. So, and that's what we're trying to do is just pick people that could win.
Yeah.
And it's not winning because they're not likable. It's because they have money. It's because they're loaded. So and you don't know really how people are gonna vote. But Sandra did win twice, so it's all right, Sandra already has. I know it's not a full million, but let's just say Sandra's a millionaire, and the jury voted her to win. So
I don't know where you're going with this because I don't have any. I'm looking at the women I have left. I don't have any that I think have money. If they do, I'm confused because I didn't know it.
I just have a hard time. Like I like my first four picks. Well, I like Heidi, Natalie, Aaron, and Alexis. Like I think those are all girls I can win. Um, but I need a strong woman on my team. I need a big, strong woman, and I'm gonna go with Taj.
Okay.
And Taj is married to Eddie George, who has money.
Yeah.
But when Taj was out there, everyone liked her. So
Yeah.
if they can get by the money thing, which I would hope so, especially in like a returning season where it's very like we want the best player to win, I could see Taj playing a more strategic game if she comes back, and I could see her getting votes if she makes it to the end. And she's strong and challenged. She's like she wouldn't be voted out for being weak in challenges. I think like they kept her over Spencer in token teams.
Yeah.
Because Spencer just wasn't that good at challenges, even though he was kind of a young, fit male. Taj is one of the stronger women that you could have on your tribe.
And I think the thing with Taj too is like nobody ever really brought up the fact that she had so much money that we weren't going to give it to her. Steven and JT got rid of her because they thought that she would win at the end.
Right. We don't know exactly how it would have gone down, but that's my only kind of like thing with Taj is that she does have money, so people might not want her to win, but she's big and strong and socially good, and she was people liked her, and she played a pretty good game.
Your token chains is like my Borneo because I'm looking at you. You got 3 token chains right here on your tribe.
I have Aaron, Taj, and Steven.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna see your Taj, and I'm finally gonna take like a newer player, and I'm gonna take Sabrina from One World.
One World.
Because
I'm never gonna take someone from One World because
I needed. You're making fun of my tribe saying that they're too old and that they're not strong. Well, I have strong women instead of like the strong guys. I feel like I got Kelly, I got Gretchen, and now I got Sabrina, and I feel like I got 3 strong women there.
Yeah, you do. You do. And your guys are pretty strong. I mean, they're just older.
Yeah, and I feel like Sabrina, if she would have went to the end against anybody other than Kim, would have won. Kim just Kim just dominated that season. Nobody was going to vote for anybody else.
I don't know why they didn't get rid of Kim. I mean, Kim just like it wasn't even. It was just. I hate One World is my least favorite season. It was so frustrating to watch. Just no one getting together to do anything about the power in that season. So yeah, are we done? Is that our whole? Are we done?
That we're done. I'm writing them down now, like separating them into men and women, so that we can so I can see like what we're looking at next to each other.
Okay. I'm curious who you have that like didn't make your team. I have 4 guys and 3 girls that I just have written down that like I might have picked if you had taken some of the people. We have pretty different.
I have a lot of women. We felt like we were on the I felt like our women, we knew exactly who we wanted, but we were also on completely different wavelengths on who we actually did want, other than Kelly Wigglesworth.
Yeah, like would you have taken? I'll go through right now. Heidi, like you said, you didn't even consider, right?
Didn't even consider.
Okay, like I think Heidi is a really strong player, but I mean, I wouldn't have ever considered PG. So,
exactly.
Natalie Bolton.
I like Natalie Bolton.
Okay, Aaron.
I like Aaron.
Alexis.
Nothing. I didn't have Alexis on my radar at all.
Okay, and then Taj.
Didn't have Taj because I had Sabrina. I was thinking Sabrina. You were thinking Taj.
Okay, that's probably just because I hate One World and I do like token teams. Like one of my more, I like that season a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess. So who are your other women that like you would have selected had I taken had I gone with Gretchen, Sabrina?
Okay. I put down 10 women in like an order here. I got 3 of my top 5, and then you had Natalie was in there and Aaron was in there. So then the other 4 or three that I had. Gina from Marquesas. Do you remember her? Way old, so I don't know.
Man, Gina, let me look her up. Let me get a picture, and I mean I'll recognize her. I've seen Marquesas twice. I mean I've seen all the seasons twice, but okay, yeah, I like kind of remember her.
She fell victim to Boston Rob. That's really what happened. She fell victim to Boston Rob. Um,
Okay,
Christine Shields from South Pacific. She's the one who opened her mouth about Coach right away.
when did she go? Oh
Uh, she,
yeah,
she
I
lost
didn't.
the thing to Ozzy.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Christine.
And then my last one was actually Marissa Callahan from Samoa, the first person voted off because she fell victim. She was the first victim of Russell Hantz.
Yeah, Russell. I do remember her. She was hot. She was a cutie.
I think that's why I wanted her on my tribe.
Yeah, I mean, but see, with the people who went out earlier, you just didn't get to see that much of them, so it's hard to say like I really think they could win because they didn't have enough time to like really,
Yeah.
mess up or make a mistake. So it's kind of like it's just kind of an unknown. So I was going with more people that went later in the game because at least you know what they're going. Like Alexis,
Yeah.
you know what she is. So
Well, and then
um,
real quick, just as far as men went, the ones I had left, because I did 15 men because I wanted
let me
strong and I
let
wanted
me
a
let
mix
me
of
read
like.
you my woman that let me read
Okay,
you
go
my
ahead.
woman that I didn't pick. Um, Debbie from Token Teens.
Didn't like her at
Just
all.
because, what's that?
I didn't like her at all.
You didn't.
No.
See, she was pretty popular. She's like an elementary school principal or something, and she was pretty strategic. She was trying to wheel and deal before kind of Steven and JT caught on to her, saying, "Wow, she's actually a really smart player. We got to get her out." And they took her out before they took out Coach because they thought Debbie was a bigger threat.
Yeah.
And she has this kind of very friendly persona, something very nice about her, very welcoming, very warm.
Yeah.
And I could see her making moves. Obviously, I didn't think she was better than the five people I did select.
Hmm.
So I also had Crystal because she's, big and
Yeah. Yeah.
strong.
I just don't. I
And
think she's too loud to win. I think she was. I think she made too many
yeah,
people mad.
exactly. Like I don't. It's hard to see her winning.
Yeah.
And then uh, this pick probably would have been my. If you had taken any of these five, this probably would have been my next pick. A bit of a sleeper, but Denise Martin from China,
Okay.
lunch lady with the mullet,
Yeah.
because she was strong, and it's good to have woman's strength on your tribe, and she was well liked. And in China, she wasn't shown to be that strategic, but she definitely was in it to win it. And I think if she were to play again, she would be much more
Let's
strategic.
let's be honest. How strategic is she really? She got $50,000 out of CBS for nothing.
Yeah, and that was a big lie, right?
Yeah.
That came out like she just lied.
Yeah.
Like they said she got fired because she was too popular with the kids and got demoted to janitor. And
Yeah.
so CBS gave her $50,000, but like that, it was just it never happened.
Didn't happen.
Or like some version of that story happened, but some very like that didn't happen. So I
Yeah.
guess she might not be asked back, but I had Denise on there too because I think she might have she might get votes if she makes it to the end.
One other girl I actually did have written down was Michaela from South Pacific, the one who fell to Brandon Hands, because I thought she was good looking, she was strong, she seemed social, she just had Brandon Hands.
Brandon Hance like hated her, right? That was when
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, Michaela, like a lot." Like Brandon Hance went off on Michaela.
Yeah.
Okay, so men.
Man. I like all your guys. I had all your guys on. I wrote down 15 guys because I figured I wanted a good mix of strength and social. So I wrote down 15 guys. Every guy you took was on my 15.
Ian, Rafe, Maddie, Kenny, and Steven.
Yeah, my highest one, I had Steven at 4, Kenny at 5, Ian at 6, Maddie at 10, and Rafe at 12. So
Cool.
Those I liked. Um, in terms of mine, I know you didn't have Brian on your radar. That was kind of like out there. But
Yeah, but I do remember him now, and because that was a that was what season was that?
12,
Guatemala.
Guatemala, yeah.
Yeah, he was a
I'm
good
sorry,
player.
11. It was 11.
Yeah, I was a I like that pick.
And then Terry,
I had Terry on my list.
Savage, Andrew Savage.
I did not have Savage.
Okay, Marty and Greg.
And then Marty I had, and Greg, like I didn't have, but he definitely crossed my mind,
Yeah.
and especially when you brought him up, like I don't know, I just felt like going with someone I saw more of, I guess. I don't know, like Rafe made it, he got third place, so I just felt like I know Rafe. So
Which guys did you have that didn't quite make it?
I had Dave Ball from Samoa.
Okay, I like him. He wasn't on my list, but I really like him. He was a funny
I
guy.
really like him, and we didn't get to see like all that much of him,
Yeah.
but I like the way he went out is just kind of it was just kind of it was just Russell
It was a
and
Russell-dominated season.
pulling over Shambo, and just kind of like he was positioned pretty well, and kind of got screwed by his whole like that whole, what was the name of that tribe? Galoo? That whole Galoo like ate some, just fell apart.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, hard to blame any one of them specifically. I guess like John Fincher, he wasn't willing to go to Rock, so he flipped to vote out Laura. And then like Kelly got idled out. It was just, I mean Russell, that whole 4 just tore through that 8-some. But Dave Ball, I think if he made it to the end, he would get votes, and he's not the strongest physically, but he's definitely not a weak player by any means. So yeah, I had Dave Ball. I had Brett also from that season, because Brett was a challenge beast. He just got completely screwed by the edit. I mean,
he got
they
screwed.
Edited Brett as like this total hero character, and made Russell this villain, and like this that total immunity was like, I mean, Brett could have won the game. If Brett made it to the end, like
He would have won.
Wins.
Yeah.
So he got so under-edited because Russell just ate up airtime that whole season. But Brett, I think, would have been a really strong player, and he hasn't been brought back because fans don't know him that well, because we didn't see much of him. And then I also had Charlie from Gabon.
Okay.
He was just liked by everybody, and kind of got screwed by the tribe swap. It wasn't him that went home to the tribe swap, but the tribe swap took out Marcus,
which then took out Charlie.
So two out of it was Corinne, Jackie, Marcus, and Charlie as like a really strong foursome, and two of those players went out from like a tribe swap. He couldn't really do anything about it. And then the only reason Kenny wanted him home or sent home was just because he found that idol slip. He saw like Kenny looking at it, and Kenny would like want a revenge to that and be like this power player. And so Kenny just made up a lie that Charlie was running things. And
Kenny was good at what he did.
Yeah, Kenny was a baller, man. He balled out that season. I'm glad he's on my tribe.
Yeah.
And then this one's like way down. Like, this is in case you really took all the people I wanted, was Rick from South Pacific.
I hated Rick. He was a waste of time. I hate that guy.
I didn't really like love him that much, but he's one of those guys, like, if he gets to the end, I think he was respected by the people he played with. He was respected, and I think just he's like an older guy, and people kind of, maybe would have given him votes. So, but I don't have him on my team. So
I had Jeff Varner from Australia, showing my love for the older season still. Jim Rice from South Pacific. I feel like he got screwed by Cochran.
Yeah, I remember Jim. Yeah, Jim was probably a better pick than Rick.
Yeah.
So,
people love Jim. They really did like Jim a lot.
Yeah.
And he had the game. He knew what he was doing. He just, that was just a garbage season. Brendan from Tocantins. I liked him. I felt he was the dragon. He was the original dragon, and he got slain.
He's my coach, but not really.
Yeah. And then the last two I had, because I think they were both really good. They both kind of just fell victim to the fact that people knew who they were before the show started. Jeff Kent, Gary Hogeboom.
Yeah, I looked at both those guys, and they're both really great players. But people, Jeff never got ousted. Like, that one chick knew who he was, but she didn't say anything. And, like, I remember she would, like, tease Jeff Kent, like, oh, baseball players aren't real athletes.
Oh, Sarah,
like,
right?
In front of people, but Jeff, like, couldn't say anything, but she knew. And then Jeff was like, all right, like, let's get this chick out of here. Yeah. She went home before she revealed to anyone that he was Jeff Kent. Well, but I think if he returned, he would just have a big target. And same with Gary, just because,
Gary was a fun player, and that goes back to that Guatemala season. He was a fun player in that Guatemala season because, like, only Danny knew who he was, and he found the idol. He found the first idol.
Yeah, the first ever. Guatemala was a great season. I think it's one of the most underrated seasons. And Judd is so funny on that season.
You know what it is with that? It was random, and people didn't like random at that point. There really wasn't that much of like a this is our strategy, this is why we're doing this. It was kind of more all over the place, and I think that kind of threw people off a little bit.
I hear you. Rafe was definitely in control though. So
yeah. Rafe, so we got our two tribes. Willie's got Ian from, or you just go down your tribe, say what season they're from, all that stuff, and then,
Okay, I'll list my tribe. I have Ian from Palau, Rafe from Guatemala, Maddie from Gabon, Kenny from Gabon, and Steven from Tocantins. And then I have Heidi from Amazon, Natalie from Micronesia, Aaron from Tocantins, Taj from Tocantins, and Alexis from Micronesia.
And then I got Brian from Guatemala, Terry from Panama, Andrew Savage from Pearl Islands, Marty from Nicaragua, Greg from Borneo, Kelly Wigglesworth from Borneo, PG from China, Elizabeth from Australia, Gretchen from Borneo, and then Sabrina from One World. So those are the two tribes of one-time players, and we love to hear from who you guys actually think has the better one. I think it's close. I think it really is, and I think either one of these could have the winner, and I think that's why. You look at some of the people they brought back. They bring back people who don't have a chance to win, like a Phillip.
Yeah.
You got all these guys right here who could win this.
Right. Yeah, all these players. Like, I didn't even think of Andrew Savage. Like, I'm thinking about Andrew Savage now. Like, that's a really great pick. And he were to return, he would be very underrated because he didn't make it all that far. But he was strong, in control, and he just got screwed. Like, a lot of the players we're picking are players that just, like, got screwed by whatever twist happened.
Yeah.
I guess you went that way a little bit more than I did, but
well, I went people who got screwed by the Richard Hatch twist.
Right.
Yeah, that's really the twist I was looking at. But I mean, I think both tribes are good. I mean, obviously mine's better, but I don't
know. I think my guys are just slam dunks, like Ian, Rafe, Maddie, Kenny, and Steven. Like, I don't see any holes in that. Like, it's pretty. You have Ian and Maddie, and then you have Steven. Even Steven's like a bigger kind of. He could be like a strong guy. He's not that physical, but like, and then like Rafe and Kenny, create at puzzles and stuff. And even Rafe is physical, so I feel like I have like I think I beat you on the guys, but you might have beaten me on the girls.
I think I like my girls better.
There are two girls that I really wanted. They were both in my top 5. But I like Aaron and Natalie and Heidi, I think, are all like super smart and won't get voted out because they're weak in challenges. So
we'll let the people decide.
We will let the people decide.
We'll let the people decide. So there it is. That's our first off-season podcast. Hopefully we have a lot more good stuff coming before we get to season 30, Worlds Apart.
Yeah. Also in the comments, let us know what players you think we just totally didn't even mention and we totally overlook. That would be interesting to see. And in the comments, let us know what other off-season segments you would want us to do. We're thinking about doing a seasons ranking or a winners ranking.
Where we kind of combine our list.
Yeah. Let us know what you want to see or listen to.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. And check out any of our San Juan Del Sur season podcasts. We have those up on streamlinecinema.com if you really, really, really want to put yourself through more of San Juan Del Sur.
Yeah, I would recommend listening to San Juan Del Sur. We'll definitely be back with season 30 cast stuff when the cast stuff's announced. I know about half of them are already spoiled. So, we'll do it when their official videos and stuff come out. We'll do that.
Yep.
So, thanks for listening, and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Over and out.